Welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show, and it is Wednesday. And as always, even though Pat, our producer, sometimes forgets to see who the guest was, I said Wednesdays are for AJ, and unless he is in a foreign country, there it is. There he is. I heard him coming. Like just out of nowhere, the hawk just appeared. So while you scare everybody, AJ, do you have those? Sykes wants to know, do you just have that like planned throughout your house, to get the boys ready to go?
Yeah, usually, and we make the Calm app, if you ever see like where you can get like rain sounds, or I think even like
Yeah.
you can get Matt McConaughey like reading a book to you if you want on there. Yeah, we just play hawk sounds all night long. We just find it on YouTube and make the boys listen to it.
Nice.
I love that.
Of course.
I love that.
Go ahead, Slice. You
No, I mean, get them familiar, and like when they're out there, like in basketball or even at a wrestling match, like they're just like, oh shit, what happened? Boom, double leg, center line double.
That would confuse
Locks
me.
them out the gym, just making random hot calls.
Wouldn't that scare you if you were playing against someone and they just they got to be all in though. They have to like absolutely sell out every single time they do it. They can't just like tiptoe.
When they get a rebound, everyone's like, what the hell? Throw some elbows, boom, dish it back. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Hey, AJ, I heard Axe kick some butt in the his final wrestling tournament, man. There's some folks out there that said that they saw him wrestle and get after a little bit.
No, I don't. So yeah, we did a couple of them. Vetter, my 9-year-old did a couple of them. He ended up winning the last match. Yeah. He won the last match in both the times that he wrestled, which was awesome. After getting ragdolled the first couple, but then Axel, my youngest, he went out there and wrestled, and he would be up in points. He'd like get takedown, whatever, is doing everything, and he thinks it's a WWE, and he thinks your shoulders have to be down for 3. He thought there was a 3-second count, legit. So he would get pinned because he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, I don't care if both shoulders hit. Like, they didn't count to 3." And I'm like, "This isn't the WWE, Axel. Like, we have to. The second it touches, you're done." And he came away frustrated, but he still felt pretty good. They both, big confidence booster for him.
Yeah, I think it was Axe. John Simon was telling me this, and he said there was a dad that was super intimidated that his son had to wrestle your son, and John goes, "Yeah, but it's AJ's son, and he's wrestling your son."
Oh, I know that guy. The guy talked to me. He said something to me. The dad did. He's like, "Man, I didn't know we have to wrestle your son." I was like, "Oh, we've been to 3 practices. This is our first time ever in any situation like this. What about you?" And he said, "Oh, we've been doing about 4.5 years." And I'm like, "Oh," as I see my kids getting ragdogged and their feet going in the air and stuff, and they're just fighting for their lives we didn't give them any really tools to try to figure it out, but that's what was amazing. They fought their hearts out, and that's all we cared about.
That's the best. I mean, that's what you want, dude. Just teach them to be little scrappers out there. Do you think they're going to come back next year?
I mean, honestly, they kind of want to, which is shocking. I didn't think they would. We'll see. I don't know if it's ever going to be like wrestling's weird. I mean, Schlegs is the king of wrestling. Like, you kind of have to be all in. You can't just kind of like tiptoe and show up every once in a while. We started doing wrestling with our younger two just to because the practices were really hard and they wanted to go, and they enjoyed it, and it was conditioning, and they get to have one-on-one matches in practice. So then when you go out there, I know you guys, Bob, both of you guys have your kids wrestle at times, and I just think it's awesome. I couldn't have done that. I would have had a hard time wrestling as a young kid, getting pinned in front of everybody, that whole situation. It would have been really good for me, I think. But man, I could see myself freaking out back then.
Yeah, don't get pinned. Like, that's the motto. Like,
well, yeah. And then you run into Baby Schlegs. You run into Baby Schlegs, who's been doing manual neck since he came out of the womb.
Yeah, and here's the other thing about that, right? So, one, for everybody that's out there, you guys both have 4 kids. I have 3 kids. Just FYI, everybody, our kids are not us. So, right? And your kid ain't you. And your kid beating our kid doesn't mean that somehow through that osmosis of transfer of blood that you have somehow beat us. You didn't. They're their own people. Let's go back into like why wrestling is actually important. Because it is 1v1. It's you versus that other person. And you can't hide where you are in your development. Like, that's why you have to practice. That's why you have to be consistent. You can beat really good technical kids by being in better shape and in better physical condition than them. I mean, I was not a great tactician, but I was just going to physically try to abuse you and wear you down. Like, try to take your soul. Like, that's it. But the best part about wrestling, I think, AJ, this is what you're saying, it's like the one sport that we can put our children in that is very, very uncomfortable, and we're not their coach. That's why we love it. You know what I mean? Because they think about it. Like, do your kids like being coached by you, AJ, Bob?
No, no.
So now other people, Coaching.
Any coaching from me, I don't know about you guys, but any coaching from me, they just instantly take it like a negative thing. Like I'm telling them they're doing something wrong or something's wrong. Like, no, this
They
is like,
internalize it.
yeah, I'm like, I get it. I understand. Like, it's true. Like, you don't want there's also the unhealthy version too, where, your kid's the point guard and the whole time he's dribbling up the court, he's looking to the sideline, he's looking at the crowd at his dad, and his dad's giving him signals or telling him yes or no. And you're an emotional roller coaster. So yeah, like I don't want either parts of that. But yeah, wrestling's awesome, man. Being able to compete one-on-one in front of people, everything's uncomfortable. I mean, the singlet, all of it is just it's just different for them. If you've never done it, it's just a different world. And I think it's awesome for any of us, like adults as well, to do things that you may have never tried before. And you might get killed, they might dominate you, but you might find something you really like.
So are Hendricks or Axe and Vet, are they into like the big time WWE wrestling? Do they think that's sweet?
They I mean, if it's on, they like, they like Roman Reigns, they like certain people, but they don't really, consistently pay attention to anything.
So Caleb has gone back and watched I think the last, I don't even know what he's watching. Some WrestleManias in there, some Raw, some SmackDown, but it's stuff on YouTube age that's from like the mid 2000s. Like he loves Cena.
Oh yeah, I've shown him that. I mean, I've shown him the old school. I used to back when the kids were younger. Yeah, we're eating breakfast. I'm showing them, Macho Man and Hulk Hogan's entrance music. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
That's
so I've shown him all the ones from back in the day when we were growing up, when it was truly a spectacle. But yeah, that's it's fun, man. It's entertaining. I enjoy it.
I didn't know if you were going to try to take him down. I mean, Caleb, like for his gift, I reached out to Pat. I'm trying to get down to WrestleMania. For Cena's last WrestleMania. That's a big deal. And trying to get him down there for that in Vegas, which, I mean, taking an 8-year-old to Vegas, AJ, what could be possibly better? I was hoping maybe the boys would be like, oh, that'd be great. And then I could talk to them and have them put some heat on you to try to get you down there as well.
Well, my kids, they would love it for probably, 20, 26 minutes, I would imagine. I don't know if they're going to sit through the whole thing, but they like anything. I mean, I was traveling with my youngest too a month or so ago, meeting Laura at a lacrosse tournament. She was already there, and just going through the airport with the youngest kids was awesome. Like everything was so cool to them. Everything was the best ever. Like, when you walk outside of a bathroom or as you're leaving a bathroom, you can there's like a touch screen if you can rate the bathroom, like how they're doing. Oh, my kids try to stop at every one of those. Like they think
smiley face.
Yeah. A drinking fountain's the coolest thing ever.
Hole in the bathroom stall.
Oh, I heard you the first time, Bob. I knew where you were going with that. We stay away from the stalls. The kids know, hey, they stick tight with me. We're peeing at the urinals. They're not going in the stalls, and they know stay away from any kind of holes you see anywhere, actually.
Yeah, you guys in there crossing the streams, like that's how close you are, or like they all have their own individual urinal?
Usually their own individual. I mean, you play swords every once in a while. When the kids are young and you're peeing at home, I guess. That's usually outdoors,
Hey, Age, talk to us a little bit about, because it's combine prep, people are going through, and you have Ohio State guys that you take a week off and you literally have 3.5 weeks to prepare for this combine. And walk everybody through about your combine prep, your transition to that, and how is that so different in today in 2024?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely changed. But even when we were coming through, there was still a lot of people that would leave and go and work out at these places. I know we were still in school, and we're out there at the Woody every morning, and we luckily had Butch taking us through our running workouts and all of that. But the combine's weird because obviously you're going to get drafted off of your tape of what you've shown on the field and what they can see as a player. But it is really important. Some positions more than others, but your 40 is very important. I think your 225 bench, coaches don't really care about that. But there's definitely things they want to see you change your speed, your change of direction, all of that. And they definitely want to talk to you and get to know you as a person, see what kind of character you have. But I loved I loved obviously working out with you guys leading up to the combine. I went out and I did a thing at Houston. I stayed for 3 days to get the experience. And there was a group of people doing it. And the place I worked out was awesome. It was really good. But then you work out 2 or 3 times a day. They give you food, but then you stay in a little apartment. I think I had a roommate for and I lasted 2.5 days, I think. I was like, that's enough. I get it. I understand. I like it. But it was just weird being away from home and living in an apartment. I was like, no, I'm still in school. I'm taking class. I'd rather live in my college house and I still have the discipline where I'm going to get up and still do all the work.
Well, that's the main thing is, guys, I got to get focused to leave the train. I'm train with guys you don't know at a place you've never been with a trainer you've never worked with. The focus is like, dude, can you get your butt out of bed when they're not forcing you to get yourself out of bed and then train hard? And thankfully, like, getting to train with you guys, the three of us, like, you got intrinsic motivators right there with you and guys you can compete with that know you and how to go back and forth. Talk about your experience though at the combine. Did you have a roommate at the combine, AJ, or was that me that had the single room? I think
so. Yeah, I did have a roommate at the combine.
You had the single room.
Yeah,
they knew
you did not. Yeah, I remember coming out and talking to you and you're like, hey, did you? We mentioned something about roommates or whatever. And you're like, no, I don't have a roommate. What did you guys got roommates? I'm like, no, are you kidding me, Bob? And I remember talking. I was like, I'm coming by your room, taking a nap, Bob. I'm going to lock you out. Like it's.
I think we did do that. I think we did do that.
Super normal. Where'd you go? I went over to Bob's room and took a nap at break for lunch.
I'm sure coaches and GMs would love to hear that. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's good.
You guys.
Hey, what was your best question you got about Bobby Carpenter at the combine? Because we were talking about like the combine is for coaches to get to know you, but it's also to see like how you're going to respond to like questions about teammates, right? Like people don't understand. They want to know you. They want to understand you. Like they want to see your personality. But like, did you get any good questions about a Bobby Carpenter while you were at the combine?
I mean, I definitely, because a lot of the people at the combine had either played with Bobby's dad or coached Bobby's dad, or they were in the front office wherever Bobby's dad was. So people definitely talked about it, but I didn't get any like specifics. Like, hey, what's the deal with this guy, with this big old giant walking around the combine, just bigger than everybody, faster than everybody. I'm sure watching, I guess all three of us, we were big too. I mean, I was 248. Schlegs, weren't you 250?
I was 250. 250.
Bob, weren't you like 255, Bob?
Yeah.
No, 265.
No, 55 of the combine.
Yeah, like we were. I know. I was chugging water before my weigh-in because I thought like I needed to be heavier, and then all of a sudden, people were like, "Geez, what are you guys doing over there?" Like, I don't know. We thought we had to be big.
We were 248, 251, and 255 linebacker. Oh my gosh, what the hell were we doing?
The best ever I remember is the Saints had us in order when AJ, me, and then Schlegs. And so I'm walking in to meet with the Saints. Like I know Sean Payton now, and he's a friend. He had Joe Vitt there. I remember walking out of there, and AJ's walking, and I'm walking, and he's walking out, and he's like, "Have fun with this guy." And I walk in there, he just sat down, and he was like, "All right, so what's the deal with you guys?" Like, I don't know. What do you mean? Like, you Ohio State guys, we drafted C. Grant here. His knee was busted up. He could never play for us. Not that tough, And I'm like, okay, like I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I'm sorry for taking him. Like, I'm sorry he got hurt. And then he goes, yeah, we just had your boy Hawk in here. And he said he carried you for the last three and a half years. Like, without him, like, you would have been nothing. Like, I don't know. So I kind of respectfully disagree. He would say, he's like, well, he did. I mean, we got it on tape. I'm filming it right here.
It's like an interrogation. It's like an interrogation when they split you up and get you to turn on each other.
And you gave me like the heads up a little bit because you're like, have fun with this guy. So I'm like, dude, first I was like, I know the guy. He's not going to say that. Second of all, even if he did, I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and what do you mean, bash my teammate? That's not how it's going to work. And then I'm walking out and literally Schlegs is walking in. I'm like, don't believe anything that comes out. Just go for it, And it's wild because I got a couple of those like back and forth, just wanting you to address stuff about your teammates.
Yeah, it's always safe to never, no matter what happens, if your teammate legit is on trial for murder, be like, you know what? I don't really know all sides of the story. I'll have to figure it out later. I don't know. Let the justice system play out in this situation. But then you never should tear a teammate down. But I do remember, Bob, it was Saban was coaching with the Dolphins, and I came in after both of you guys. It went like Schlegs, Bob, me, I think, for those 15-minute meetings. And I remember Saban sitting there, and his defense. Our defense from Mark D'Antonio came from Nick Saban and all this stuff. And we had to get on the board and draw some blitzes up. And I started to draw up, I don't know, Miami or Tahoe or something. And the first two blitzes I drew up, Saban's like, nope, don't do that. Bobby and Schlegel already drew those ones up on me. Stop. You guys keep drawing the same ones or whatever. So I had to come up with I had to think of another
Hawk Tulsa, man. Like, that was your blitz. Like, that was the one. Hawk Tulsa. Yeah. All those.
Yeah, that whole what's weird now is guys go and they get coached up on how to do the whiteboard stuff, which to me is weird. To getting coached up into how to interview, I guess, yeah, because it is a big deal. You should be good at it, but I'm like, I feel like if I'm a coach and I'm talking to a dude, I can feel like all right, this feels like a canned answer. This feels like someone told you this is how you should respond to this. Like, I don't know. It's just different. Hopefully you can find a way to still be real and authentic, even if you get that, you have these so-called gurus coaching you up.
Do you think like we were coached and prepared and like educated in football at Ohio State, like better than a lot of other places? Like, I don't know. Like, what do you see when you're like talking around ball with other guys in your town?
Yeah, I definitely do. I felt like that. I would always ask guys, wherever they came from. I mean, obviously a lot of the big time schools, they had similar experiences, I think, that we did, but not always. Like sometimes I'd talk to guys and they're like, man, I didn't even go to meetings. I didn't really have to do anything. I just kind of showed up, and if we were in full pads, I may take a couple reps here of inside run. That's about it. I'm like, man, you guys had different experience than I had in college. So I think it varies, but yeah, I mean, I feel like we were absolutely as prepared as anybody coming out of Ohio State, because not only like the football scheme and playing in big games, but we also had to, you had to talk to the media plenty. You knew how to deal with coaches and all of that stuff that you might not get other places. I feel like Ohio State kind of put you from day one, you're put in those positions to where like you're always like hopefully evolving as a player and a person.
All right. And lastly, before we get you out of here, what do you think about our guy, the senator, becoming the governor?
I love
Lieutenant Governor.
Governor.
Man. Yeah, how awesome is that? I mean, it makes so much sense, doesn't it? I was watching Coach Tressel speak, and he's saying, or I saw DeWine speaking about it, saying that, yeah, like although he doesn't have any like political experience, like as a leader, he's a leader of men, a leader of people, and whatever can bring people together. I'm like, yeah, of course, Coach Tressel. Like who is more genuine than Jim Tressel? Nobody on the planet. So I would imagine that he's already. I would love to see his first like week in office, watching him learn about like what he's doing and like his curiosity and the questions and the follow-ups that dude has. Like, I bet he's not going to sleep for the next year and a half because he wants
695 days, AJ. That's what literally the first thing when I shook his hand, congratulations, Steph and I were there. He said, hey, we got 695 days to make a difference. Like that's what he's thinking about already.
Yeah. I mean, that's him. He will be perfect. Like if you can do anything to help people, Coach Tressel will go to the ends of the earth to do great and be great at that job.
Absolutely. Hey, we'll be as good a state as the class of people we are, AJ. Remember that.
Man, I can always count on you pulling up great quotes from the winner's manual or anything Coach Tressel ever said.
I just thank God he made me a Buckeye. Absolutely. All right, Age. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Schlegs. Appreciate the Hawk talk.
Sorry, I thought there was gonna be like 14 Hawks.
He's been doing it before we came on. He's already testing out different Hawk calls.
Of course.
Yeah, I know. There's so many. There's so many.
So many. All right, man. Have a good one. Enjoy it on McAfee today, and we'll get together soon.
All right. See you guys.
See you, bro.
Oh, Lord. That guy. That is an interesting deal. I didn't even get a chance to talk to him about Richie Incognito, Schlegs.
I know. How about that? You should have said that.
I know. Well, I meant to, and then I forgot about Tresby and Lieutenant Governor, and then we get into wrestling and everything else. The combine. There's so many things to get into, Schlegs, that we were like Pokemon. We got to catch them all. But we're going to get into that afterwards because I find it to be a fascinating topic, and it really gets into more locker room culture and what you're about. And Jonathan Martin came out back with some things about what happened in Miami, and Richie Incognito was blacklisted for basically a full year. Got back in the NFL,
yeah,
but
lost millions of dollars though.
Millions of dollars, hazing, bullying. Like, what is it really like in the locker rooms? We'll talk about that next here on the Bobby Carpenter Show. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink garage beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage beer, beer-flavored beer. All right, before we get into the Rich Incognito story, I want to tell you about my friends over at Export. Parents and athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to absorb those high-impact hits to protect both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber. They custom fit these things. They 3D print them to your own unique smile. That means more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. All right. So here is all this, like, so this happened. I want to say I had looked this up with Richie Incognito earlier this morning. I'm trying to think what year. I think this was 2014 that a lot of this went down, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Maybe 2013. I had it all pulled up. Let me dive back in there, Schleiks, to see this. But essentially what happened is Jonathan Martin was drafted by the Dolphins. And he came out of Stanford. I think he was a second-round draft pick to play tackle. Now,
Stanford.
Dolphins had a pretty strong culture in that offensive line room. They were a very close-knit group. So he comes in there, and he's a rookie. And this transpired, it would have been 2013. So year after I get done playing. And all full disclosure, I played with the Dolphins for about 6 games in 2010. And so I think Richie was down there then, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that was his first year in Miami. And then also I played against him when he was in St. Louis. Richie Incognito, really good guard in the NFL. Nebraska guy. Dude you love to play with, hated playing against. If he's your guy, he's your a-hole, Schleigs, and you love him, and he's physical, and he is tough as nails. And, dude, you want everything about him. If he's not, dude, he's the guy that's hitting you late, like giving you a little something at the end of the play. Like if you get in a fight, he's going to knock the dude out for you. And so down there too, he's got Pouncey, they've got John Jerry, and like these guys are kind of co-conspirators with him in this. But I guess Richie Incognito ends up getting suspended from the Dolphins. He ends up getting cut. So he misses 8 games in 2013, misses all of the 2014 season. Meanwhile, in 2012, the year before, he was a Pro Bowler. Yeah. So like this is Pro Bowl season. Then when he gets picked back up, he makes 3 straight Pro Bowls with the Bills. So like really, this is the prime of his career.
Yep.
And Jonathan Martin, the NFL isn't for everybody. And college football is not for everybody. Schleiks, you know this, the locker room can be a rough place. And it's rough. And like, I say this in the most like loving way possible. It's how dudes kind of show affection to each other, where like the razzing, I don't call it hazing. It's just razzing all the time, like back and forth, always touching on things that might be uncomfortable, that are always pushing. And usually when guys like it's starting to go too far, like, all right, we'll back off. Or it's like, hey, nothing's off limits and you want to come back at me, we're fine. But like, there's never any severity to it. Like nobody's ever serious about it. And so I guess Jonathan Martin came out and said he never felt like he was bullied now. And, you know, he never went and told anybody. It was his mom is the one who went to Adam Schefter, and he had a voicemail that's from Rich Incognito. And full disclosure, that voicemail, a lot of profanity and some racial epithets throughout. And so people wanted to paint him as a bully and a racist. And then you have a couple of black guys on his team come out and defend him. And like Richie Incognito might be a lot of things, but I don't think he's a racist. And I don't think one of the Pouncey brothers, John Jerry, Cameron Wake, dudes who I played with down there would have defended him if he was. So like when you look through all that and see it all, like they kind of railroaded him. They pushed a narrative and Richie was pissed. And people were like, why is he mad? He played like 6-7 years after that. Well, because he lost a year and a half of his prime, lost a lot of money and the opportunity to continue to play. And I guess most people Schlegs can't understand what a locker room is like because they've never been in one. And I don't blame them for that. It's really difficult to understand and to explain to people because most people will look at you like and give you that side eye, like, what? Like, that's what you guys say to each other in there? That's how that goes? I'm like, yeah, these guys are my best friends. And they say that to me and I say that to them. And we make fun of religion, race, ethnicity, like everything. Nothing is off limits. And about nothing of it's really true either. And it's just all going at each other a lot of the time. But if one of those guys needed you, they could call you and you could do anything for them at any given time. And so there's a lot that went into that. And I tried to outline it and paint it with a big, broad brush Schlegs. And we're getting up against it. So what I'm going to do, we're going to take a quick break. I want you to collect your thoughts. And I want you to come back and give me your take a little bit on this. But then upon like locker room building culture within a team, within position groups, locker rooms, and how that works. And just that trust element and factor that all of how important that is to have a successful group and a successful team. We'll get Schlegs' thoughts coming up on that next. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. All right, welcome back to the Bobby Carpenter Show. Please, if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, follow. We get some questions, get all your stuff. We appreciate all of it. And now I'm going to open the platform and allow my guy Schlegs to talk about culture, locker rooms, the Richie Incognito, Jonathan Martin, really whatever it is your heart desires, sir.
Yeah, well, I mean, one, yeah, he probably was a psycho, probably still is a psycho. Probably like that's what gave him the edge to be elite and go to 4 Pro Bowls after missing 2 seasons. And I think sometimes, like you said, I thought you alluded to it best, Bob. Like Braves was that type of asshole too, right? Like he's the guy that you want on your team. He's the guy that you don't want to go against, but he also makes everybody else better. Super smart. Like he's just gritty and grimy like that, right? Like, and you need guys like the beautiful thing about the team is the melting pot of our entire society in the best form or fashion where everybody comes together with a common goal. Like that's why sports are so important. That's why I tell parents to have your kids play multiple sports. That way they're not always the best at that sport. They got to learn how to train and how to deal and how to interact with all different types of coaches, all different types of teammates. Like that's what really where the development happens. And so you look at this, to me, it's very time sensitive as where we were in a society and also people trying to create a story as opposed to this is how it should happen. It's called look at somebody in the face and have a convo. And too many times, especially now for like a decade removed from this, we have gotten further and further away from anybody being able to sit down and look somebody in the eye, Bobs, boom, and have a convo, right? And just treat people with dignity and respect. Listen to what they have to say, come back at them. And if you don't agree, fine, we can move on. We're still going to be teammates. We're going to still do this thing and try to win a championship. And that's how you move on. Now let's talk fast forward and what I think Ryan does such a great job in the locker room and how it is. Like normally in a locker room, right, you sit in position groups or in proximity around other people, but you might have tight ends that are close to each other that are also mixed in with linebackers. Like the thing is in how you place your locker room, because ours, like I remember ours was by numerical order when we played, Bob.
Yeah.
So you guys were in the 40s. I was in the 50. I was right next to
With
Tim
that,
Anderson.
so like what's interesting about that is a lot of times numerical order breeds like clustering by position a little bit too, where like your O linemen are all ineligible. So they're there, like the linebackers were 40s, 50s, like 30s. Like, so it's numerical, but it was a little bit positionary as well with some integration.
Yep. And having that open lock, like why I like the open locker room is because you can go over and you can talk to other people. And again, we're all in this together, but that's where the magic happens. Like if you look at college football, why have they gone to where everything is in the building? And even in the NFL now with their model of, I mean, how we built a $170 million facility in Jacksonville. Why is that? Because the more the guys are in the building, the more they have the ability to train and to recover, to make sure they're at max capacity. Also, be around ball, be around their coaches, be around the other guys in the room. And the beauty of what I think of the locker room, this stems from a cultural thing, is the competitive excellence aspect of it, where we can be teammates and then we can also be competing with each other to be the starter, good versus good. Like that's healthy. Like some people, they wither from that because they want to say, hey, it's gifted to me. I am that guy. And that's how I operate. And I'm always like, no, go take it. Make sure that everybody knows that you are that guy. How do you do that? I'll prepare them. I'll take, be more disciplined in how your diet is. Be more disciplined in how you take care of your body. Be more disciplined in the weight room. But also bring them along too, because when you do that, you're sharpening each other, but you're also sharpening yourself so you can handle it. There's a fine line in that. That's why I think the locker room is such a beautiful melting pot of everybody involved. And again, I say this too, Bob, you and I, hell, I'm turning 44 pretty soon. You're 42, AJ's 42. But, nobody
we'll
knows.
42, like,
what's that?
AJ just turned 41. I'll be 40.
Oh my gosh. That's so terrible. You guys are so good.
You're 2 years and 10 months older than AJ, basically.
No.
True.
6 years in college, man. Anyways, 5.5. But here's the thing. Nobody knows you like the people that been through the stuff that you have. Like my wife knows me. She knows me very well because I think I do a decent job of articulating that, but she doesn't understand some of my feelings and the things that make me a high achiever and high performer like you do, Bob. And it's also why like Nate Ebner and John Simon were in. And it was just great to be around those guys. And I kid you not, the banter that goes back and forth in between us in those things is like I was back coaching them, or when they were in the league and we're all trained together, or in the Vanilla Nut Tap, IG chat, or the Vanilla Nut Tap, group message that we're on, and AJ and James and all there. Like it's comical to us, and it still goes on, and we're in our 30s and 40s doing it. But like that's what makes it so special, and that's how you can appreciate each other. But again, this whole thing started because two people couldn't come together and have a combo. Our society is that way now.
And if you really have an issue and there's something that's off limits, be like, hey, can you take this off limits? And if you have a one-on-one conversation with those guys, usually if you do it as a man, like, all right, I got you.
Hey, listen, I don't go there. Like, hey, I'm sorry. I don't want to be talking about that stuff. Like,
yeah.
Just guess what? Guys respect that. I mean, like, drop your sack and say, hey, this is what I'm about, right? Like, that's part of it too.
And I talked to Vernon Carey, who was on that Dolphins team there, played at Miami. Like, I played with Vernon for 6 games, but like that's the one thing, like locker rooms, and similar to the military, you pull guys from all across the country, from all walks of life, from all experiences, and you assimilate them together and like, hey, go work at this common mission and purpose. And so like, as you get to know guys on levels that most people don't, because you spend so much time in the shared sacrifice together, you get to feel and understand all of those things. And that's the beauty of it. And yeah, it goes too far for normal people. And there's times where it goes too far for the players. And that's when those conversations need to happen. That trust needs to be a big part of it. And so it didn't happen here. And now Jonathan Martin's coming out and saying, yeah, I should have handled it differently. And I shouldn't let my mom get involved. And people push this bullying narrative. I mean, dude, you're talking about grown men that are 300 plus pounds that are they play a combative sport. Like I told you, there's no bullying in that. Like, dudes get after it. And you know what? If you're getting bullied, you just have a fight. Like that's just how it works, because that's how the football is. Like it's unfortunate. But it's what it is, and that's how it works. And guys just talk, and it's a little bit different, man. It's a unique beast. But I wanted to get into that because, gosh, it brought back memories of it. It's a decade ago, and I'm like, gosh, I just retired, and knowing a lot of those guys, and knowing Richie. and not knowing him to be a bad dude, just him to be he's an interesting guy, but if he's your guy, he's the guy that you love. And that goes for like almost all those other guys that played with him loved him. And so at least he gets a little vindication there and was able to finish his career in a positive way, even though it did cost him time and money. All right, coming up next, we've got some news, Slags, about the top coaches in college football. New lists are always out. And Ryan Day, when he started, he was way near the top. He may have drifted back down a little bit. Where is he at now? We'll find out next here on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right, welcome back to the Bobby Carpenter Show. We got our headlines here, and everybody's always putting out lists. We got some downtime in college football. So if you're not talking about the combine and you're talking about pro days and the draft, you got list season, Schlags. And our guy, Andy Staples, who's been on the show with us from On 3, him and Ari Wasserman do a lot of stuff together, who was just with us, I believe, last week or the week before. I think that was last week. He had his list of the top 25 college football coaches. You had Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, Dabo Swinney. The only three coaches currently that have won national championships, Dabo's won 2, Kirby's won 2, Ryan has won 1, followed by Sark and Marcus, with Dan Lanning sitting there outside at 6th. James Franklin, Brian Kelly, Kalen DeBoer, and Lane Kiffin. And when you see that, Schlags, you feel like that's appropriately ranked for Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, Kirby's obviously won the most. He's won, 2 national championships, right?
Yeah, him and Dabo each have 2.
Both have 2.
Yeah.
So, those are the 3 head coaches that have won it. I mean, you look at Ryan Day's overall winning percentage is better than all of them. I think it's appropriate. I think Ryan doesn't care. Nobody really cares because guess what, man? It's short-lived. You were national champions in 24. What are you going to do in 25? It's all about the here and now and the present. And how are you going to get this program that just lost a lot of starters, a lot of great talent? How are you going to get them back to the apex of college football in 2025? So I think where those guys are is appropriate. You look at what Clemson was able to do this year and go back and win the ACC and the longevity that Dabo has had at Clemson. I understand that. I understand Stark. I see what Marcus has done. I like Dan Lanning a lot. James Franklin. But then you go in, it's like, what is really Brian? Like, it's the rest of the order that goes in. Because you talk about top 25 college football coaches, like then there's Dion. Like I'm looking at Dion. So like you look at Dion and what he was even able to do at a Colorado program that won 1 game, to where I think I heard it on Bishop and Friends, to where Colorado had the 10th most eyeballs on college football games in the country. That's a lot of that is Deion Sanders. How is he not higher? And what are we ranking these on? Are we ranking it on simply because of what they've done in their career? Are we doing it based upon what they've done lately? Are we doing it upon how good they are as a coach? Right? Like there's a lot of things. I think Matt Campbell does a phenomenal job of getting the most out of an Iowa State developmental type of program. And I say developmental program, guys, like I would say when you look at the list on the left going down to probably 10 or 11, like those are places to where you have enough to where you can recruit the best of the best. But the IUs of the world, the Brett Bielema has done a phenomenal job there. Kansas State is always kind of in the mix. Kirk Ferentz, like I don't know if he underachieves or overachieves or what's the status quo there, but a lot of longevity. But the rest of those programs, Bob, are developmental places. Michigan should not be a developmental place. Like, they are a blue blood. They should be able to recruit the right guys to always be sustainable at the top level. But once you go through like 10 to 15 teams, all those outlooks are like, I got to always press my guys to get the max out of them to have those type of seasons and runs. Then I got to keep them healthy at the end. Versus the top 10 always can have depth and replace and reload because of the talent acquisition, because of the brand and the NIL money that they have.
Yeah, I think Sherman Moore with what he's done is probably a little too high. But I do think Dion, he has a small body of work, but he was really good. And he's taken a terrible program to be on the cusp of winning a Big 12.
Guys, they had one winning season in like 18 years.
Oh, they were
something
bad.
Like that.
Like
then
10.
they went 4-8, and then they went whatever this year and like had an opportunity to like finish strong. But that was all him. So it's like, how much, like, what does the head coach how does the head coach actually move the needle for the program? That's why I was like, Dion moves the needle for Colorado more so than a Brian Kelly does at an LSU, in my opinion.
All right. That's it for that. That's it for our headlines. We got Tailgate Talk brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. So get your questions ready. And a little nugget out here from one of the guys who partners with Real Truck as well. Or Cardale Jones might have something that he's interested in. We'll tell you what that is next on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Get the most out of work, life, and all your outdoor adventures with top-selling upgrades for your truck. Guaranteed fit, free shipping, easy install, expert support, and thousands of dealers just a click away. Bring your truck to life. Real Truck. Upgrade today and save between $50 and $400 on select Real Truck products. Visit realtruck.com/specials.
Welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show, and welcome into our Tailgate Talk brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. Real Truck at realtruck.com. Truck, Jeep, Bronco, check. They'll bring that thing to life. Interior, exterior, seat covers, the bed covers. I was looking at my winch yesterday on my sweet new bumper. Man, they got it all for you. They'll take care of that thing. They will bring it to life just like they've done for Schlegs and I and my guy, Cardale Jones. So go check them out at realtruck.com. You spend $100, you get free shipping. So how about that? They're taking care of you as well. So our guy, Cardale Jones, saw this drifting out there. So they're looking for walk-ons, tryouts. Let's see what we got here. So you can come play for the Buckeyes. Walk-on tryout meeting. What are the requirements to enter the meeting? You must be enrolled on OSU main campus as a full-time student with the class schedule and cumulative GPA printed to verify. No exceptions. Be Thursday, February 27th. So it's coming up, Schlegs. It's right here. It's on the come up. Is that before it's the day we leave for the cruise. So you're not going to be able to go to that either. 5:45 at the Woody Hayes. If you can't attend the meeting, you can't try out. Cardale was going to consider doing that until he saw the no exceptions after that GPA. Because Schlegs, we know that he didn't come here to play school.
No doubt. And honestly, if I was doing a walk-on tryout, I'd have made it 5:45 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Just to see how invested are you? You know what I mean? Like, it's before all classes, right? So make it as early as possible. And again, I'm happy that they did that. Like, Nate Ebner walked on to Ohio State. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of great guys.
Xavier Johnson in the NFL.
Walked on at Ohio State. Like, there's a lot of guys. Rosinski right now and Patrick Gerd and like all these guys that were in there, walk-ons. Man, there's some other ones that are escaping my mind that I was able to train. And I love the walk-on mentality because why? Like, they're there to like literally serve and compete and get better. And like some of their development is just astronomical because they never had that type of training. And then you put them in against the best of the best and competitive excellence happens. Like, they just continue to get better and they just want to add value. I love it. I'm interested to see, because I know when they go to 105, like the walkouts the walk-ons will, I believe, no longer be there, right?
No,
Everybody will be on
you can
scholarship.
offer. I talked to Ross. You can offer compensate. You can offer scholarships up to 105, but you don't have to offer full scholarships and do all that. Like there's no requirements, so they can still have walk-ons. You just can't go plus 105 anymore.
Okay.
They're still trying to work through some of that because I guess there is some gray and ambiguity in there as well.
And the reason that we mention that, everybody, is because like right now there might be 120 guys on the team.
Yeah.
Think about that. 105 scholarship athletes, no walk-ons. You just lost 15 people. And 15 bodies allows you to do a lot of different things from a scout team perspective, multiple huddle perspective, while reducing the volume on the guys that are going to be taking meaningful reps in the games. Like, losing 15 people is a lot. In the NFL, you go from 90 to 70, right? With a 53-man active roster, 45 on active on game day, but 70 at practice. So in college football, you go from 120 to 105. That's 15. It means a lot. Coach is going to have to flip the script and figure that out in some kind of capacity.
Here's a question from Lunatic Fringe. Do we lose Mylan Graham and Jelani Thurman in the spring portal? Seems like both rooms are jam-packed with talent. It's a really good question. We talked a little bit about Mylan yesterday. Mylan's an elite talent. There are times I watched him at practice where I didn't know if I wasn't really paying attention, if that was like Carnell Tate or Jeremiah Smith or Mylan Graham. Like he's the physical body type. Like
he's big.
He's maybe not quite as muscular as JJ, but a little bigger than Carnell. But like you watch him run, like he's got it all. And if he's got it, like Heartline will make sure those guys play. If you deserve to be on the field, he will get you on the field. He will make sure that you're going to be developed in a big way. Jelani Thurman, I'm excited for him to take the next step. And it's something that he's got to do. Yeah. All right. You got Will Kazmarek. You brought my man in from Purdue. I can't think of his name right now. You still got Bennett Christensen there.
That's Max Clare, by the way.
Max Clare. Max Eclair. I think you said you love a good chocolate eclair slag. So Max Eclair. And then they brought in Roberts out of the high school kid out of Oklahoma. So they've got like 5 scholarship tight ends. Jelani is the most talented of all of them. Like he's the one dude, Schlaze, that can kind of do everything and do it all at a high level. He can block if he wants. He can run routes. He can do this. It's going to be the function for him of like leveling up, as the kids say, taking it to that next level. And you got a chance to work with him. He's got all the ability in the world. And you see flashes of it with young guys. It's just always that consistency piece.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? That's why you have the winners. That's why you have the spring. When you bring somebody in, you know, Will was like a hungry guy. Like, I mean, I very vividly remember, like, after we were done working out, I happened to be there like on a Saturday, and like there's like Will, like in there, like hitting stuff, you know, and like I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Taking my vitamins." I'm like, "Boom!" I just dapped him up and I left. But like that's what you want. So it's, again, a lot of this stuff is like mindset, it's development, it's age, it's like your craft, like all these different things. And the most rewarding part of coaching and where your thoughts are consumed is, how do I move the needle for that athlete to take the necessary steps to maximize his genetic potential? Because to your point, he has the highest ceiling of everybody, but it's how do I get there? Right. And that's what you want to see. And it's completely on him to be able to do it. And again, us as the outside looking in, we root for guys like that. Like that's what you want. Like you want to see everybody's max potential come out.
Well, because you know his potential is incredibly high. And so that's what you love, is to watch any coach. You love watching your dude become as good as they can potentially be, reaching their full genetic potential. We had one yesterday about CJ Hicks, and I'm gonna save that for tomorrow because I think that's a bigger conversation. We don't have ton of time, but Don Shimmick put this out here. Which walk-on did you respect or enjoy playing with the most? I'm gonna go first with this one. My guy in this was a fellow linebacker. I think he was 2 years behind us, if I'm not mistaken. My guy Trevor Robinson. Incredibly tough.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Trevor Robinson was the man. And he played like third team Sam, never got on the field on defense. But I lobbied the coach and tried to help. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to teach you how to play kickoff. And he would run down there at R5.
Oh my gosh.
He broke like 3 or 4 face masks.
Yes.
I mean, he was just a monster. And like, just you talk about a dude self-sacrifice. Like, I'm thankful I saw him and he's still cognitive and he's doing really well in life. And I love the guy because I was worried that he was going to end up like Simple Jack off Tropic Thunder. He took souls, dude, and he was the man. I love Trevor.
You know what? I can honestly tell you this, Bob. Like, when we played, I didn't know. I really don't. I really can't remember who was on scholarship and who wasn't. And I think that's part of the beauty. I'm gonna let you guys know a little secret. Like that's part of the beauty of Ohio State is it's always a meritocracy, meaning everybody, regardless if you're a starter or you're a walk-on, you're treated the same. You get the same gear. You get trained the exact same. The +2 stuff, all the sports science stuff, all like the coaches, you get trained by the same dudes. You know what I mean? Like you're getting everything that is the same. I honestly, when you said Trevor Robinson, it literally part like he wasn't on scholarship. Like I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Like I can't even tell you right now who wasn't on there. All I do know, Bob, is that the one thing that regardless in all of sports, walk on, scholarship doesn't matter. We just appreciate guys that go.
Yeah.
That's all I care about, man.
Dude on
And
dude
so to
appreciation.
one that stood out that I don't even
Hold on. Pause on that. We're going to get Sleggs' dude is going to be his parting thought coming up next.
Get the most out of work, life, and all your outdoor adventures with top-selling upgrades for your truck. Guaranteed fit, free shipping, easy install, expert support, and thousands of dealers just a click away. Bring your truck to life. Real Truck. Upgrade today and save between $50 and $400 on select Real Truck products. Visit realtruck.com/specials.
All right. Sleggs just put in the chat, who are our walk-ons?
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, you want me to get my guy, like, to be able to
I
talk
thought you were
about
going to give somebody. I said the one guy, and then I was like, all right.
And I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. It's because I've hit so many people. I would say this. Like, I don't know.
You know who was a walk-on? One of the guys.
I do not. Was John Conroy a walk-on?
Conroy was, but how about your roommate?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You know who
I know that's
with.
where you wanted to go. So, I would say this. Like John Conroy just happened. One, I saw him at Tress's deal.
Yeah.
But you guys got to understand, like,
John Conroy.
I didn't even know that he was one. But I will say this. Our Thursdays practices, Bob will allude to understands this. We were in shells. We were in shoulder pads and helmets. And it was an abusive practice because I wanted to get the feel. So if we ran Alaska Magic and I didn't have pants on, it didn't matter. We were in full pads. I was going to blow shit up because I want to feel the game speed because it's the third practice of the week. That's when I felt like I had everything dialed in. I wanted the timing. I wanted this. Like, those guys meant a lot. And like to be able to come out, give us their effort as we gave our effort to prepare us for the game, regardless if they were a walk-on or not, I don't even know. I just always appreciated our scout team offensive line. So if they were on there, I was trying to get their face mask because I wanted to be ready for Saturdays. So I applaud all of them. But I saw John the other day. He looks good. Face is thin. Look buttoned up.
Ready to go. Deepest voice around. Him and Trevor Robinson, two deepest voices you ever meet.
So deep.
Great Buckeyes, great walk-ons, phenomenal dudes. I think Trev actually got a scholarship his last year because Tress is a great guy. Either way, that's it for today's show. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Bobby Carpenter Show.